We are live. Welcome, everyone. Just give it a few minutes for people to join us in the room. I can see we have some people joining us already. Great to see you. I can see some new names there. So do let us know where you're watching from, especially if you've never joined before. It's always nice to know where you're from. I'll run through a little bit of housekeeping just for those who have never joined us before. So we will be doing a Q&A session at the end of this session. So if you have any questions, put them into the chat or the Q&A, and we will get around to them at the end. This session will be available to watch on demand on the Verissian network after it's finished, and we will be hosting the slides on there as well. So do have a look at that if you manage to join partway through, or if you'd like to rewatch any of this. I can see some good names in there. Hi, familiar names. Great to see you all. So yes, do let us know where you're watching from and let us know if you have any questions. We also have all of the on-demand content from Hydromet Africa, which we recently hosted in Pretoria. That is all available to watch on the Hydromet network as well. So I will make a start without further ado. So I have Godefroid with me today from the African Centre of Meteorological Applications for Development, who's going to be presenting for us Continental Weather and Climate Watch for Africa. So if you'd like to begin for me.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I think it's in a presenter view on the slides. If you could change that for me.
I have put in the... Is it okay now?
I think it's the same, but it's fine. We can still see the slides. You're good to go.
Okay.
Perfect.
So as Kati said, my name is Godefroid NSHIMIRIMANA. I work in at ACMAD. I'm gonna talk about the continental weather and the climate watch for Africa. As an introduction, I just present ACMAD. What is it? It's ACMAD stands as African Center for Meteorological Application for Development, and it was been created through the resolution 540 of the UNECA, and this was followed by the droughts which was across Africa during the 70s and the 80s. So then ACMAD established since 92 in Niamey, Niger, West Africa, and our core mandate, there are mainly two. First of all, to become a continental weather and a climate watch center for Africa, with monitoring, forecasting, and early warning for drought, floods, tropical cyclone, and the other extreme events as functions. Secondly, to be an institutional of excellence for the applications of meteorology for the sustainable development, with the capacity to build capacity, method, tools, and the product development, and also to contribute to global weather and the climate program. And so, since the center has been established, he tasked to carry out capacity development for its member state, which is normally national meteorological services in weather prediction, climate monitoring, research, and also transfer technology. I will give you some couple of examples for the transfer technology. And then in 2022, ACMAD, I mean, all of you are aware about the big program from Africa, which is called Africa Meteor Hazard. That was on its Meteor Hazard and Early Warning System. ACMAD established a situation room and was named Continental Meteor Hazard Advisory Center to support that program. again, in 2015, ACMAD was being designated as Regional Climate Center for Africa. This is the map of globally when you can see ACMAD in African RCC, and it is in red. For the moment, we have 3 RCC over Africa designated by WMO, which is the RCC network for Northern Africa, African Regional Center, Regional Center near ACMAD, and the Regional Climate Center for IGAD countries, IGAD region, which is at ICPAC based in Nairobi. And for information, we still have the 3 other centers in proposed and the one in the demonstration phase. The one in the demonstration phase, it's the Regional Climate Center for ECOWAS and Sahel, which would be maybe in the days to come be designated by WMO. As I said, since October 2022, that's when we established our situation room, and we do support this big program for Africa for early warning system. And our main role is to support the African Union for ACMAD stand at continental level by generating regular continental hazard and a disaster situation report at the continental climate trend and impact-based advisories. And we do support also the other situation room already established, which is the Disaster Operations Center for West Africa based in Abuja, and the IGAD Disaster Operations Center based in Nairobi. But also for information, there are 2 other situation room under development, and which may be inaugurate later this year, which is the disaster situation room for ECAS region, which is the Central Africa region. It will be based in Douala, and also the Humanitarian and Emergency Operations Center, which will be in Nacala, Mozambique, serving for SADC. And also the future plan for this AMEWAS is to also to set up the national, the situation room at the national level. Coming back for the climate priorities for ACMAD, our mainly priorities area service is for agriculture, health, and the disaster reduction. In terms for disaster reduction, we are more contributing in the preparation and also in the response. And the ACMAD provide climate service tailored with significant weather and the climate phenomena related to potential hazard and also impact as well. We do some response measurement by and this part is done in collaboration with our user interface platform, which I will talk later. Yes, for us, regarding to the climate services, we do follow the guidance from WMO, where we do climate service production, where we have for data management from observation, modeling, forecasting, and then produce services. Those are our value chain we are producing. Then to do so, we have to effectively this climate change to support the decision maker. There is some key element. Then you can see there is observation. From the observation, we do weather forecasting, hazard forecasting, then impact forecasting, and then go to the warning. But for us, we just remain on the advisories because the warning it's mandatory for the National Meteorological Services. For us at the continental level, we just produce product and they provide advisories for our stakeholders, but also to capacitate the National Met Services to get some information to be useful to them to anticipate or also to fine-tune their product at the national level, and then issue warning if necessary to support decision maker. Then you can see between all those key elements, we have some bridges, which means the necessity for the partnership and also collaboration among the partners on the ground. By starting so, for the first element to do to generate those climate services, the first element is the observation. And then here I give you an example for what ACMAD is doing in terms of monitoring of national synoptic station. And then we see the gaps, how at the continental level, there is a really need to improve the observation network. Then we can see, for example, there are the dot in blue, that's the where the station is between 90 to 100% transmit to GTS. And then we see the range of those stations is around 400, while of Africa, we assume that we have like more than 1,000 stations. So you can imagine if we have only 400 transmit to the GTS, what will be the accuracy for the forecast we may be generated by the global center which we are using. So there is a need to improve our Africa observation network and also facilitate this transmission. So to produce our services, our mainly source of the data we rely on from those synoptic stations, but also collect data from the satellite, and of course doing as we have access for GPCs, then for there we process the data and also then generate products. So it means that where there is a gap, so that's this area there is no data station or missing data, we rely on the satellite information to bridge this gap. And also we also getting data from other different tools or platform. That's when I give you the example for the platform called MyDewatra, developed by Chima Foundation in a collaboration of Italian Civil Protection, and with the agreement with ACMAD, Chima, we have started to integrate some of the useful information or data to be used by the meteorological community, but also the early warning communities. Notice that that's MyDewatra has been endorsed by the DRR community of Africa to be used in terms of within the program for AMOAS. So as in terms of the use of data also, we just give an example about the regional advanced transmission system, which is capturing the low Earth orbiting satellite. You can see in left hands there was no any antenna of Africa. So then ACMAD, in the support from the African Development Bank, we got funds to install 4 antennas for the 4 regions. Let's say one in Niamey for covering the West Africa, another one in Gabon covering Central Africa, the one in Kenya is covering Eastern Africa, and then the last one is for SADC region, which is based in South Africa at Sansa. And then the contribution to this research is to support this gap for data of Africa, but also improve the tracking convection methods, cells, strong wind, heavy rainfall rates, and also severe lightning. And also, we do hope that with the operationalizing of those RAS antennas, we will improve our numerical prediction, and also improve the quality of the product. Okay, so this is the chain for the production process. Then from the access data, we do our analysis, and then the methodology used at ACMAD, we add for short range product for services. We do our analysis, and then from a methodological purpose, and then we come up with the synthetic map with some icons to facilitate the to the user to understand our product. And then we do for day 1 up to day 5. Then we do a summary for the 5 days, which is this map where we can see where is the categories for phenomena, the hazard, the potential impact, but also the DRM or disaster risk reduction measurement or action to be taken for the users. So our approach, as I said, you have seen that there is a gap for the in-situ data. We still rely on the global centers. So then here we are, our approach is poor-man ensemble approach, where we combine all the models, the 6 models we have access, like the ARPEGE from Meteo France, GFS from NOAA, UK Meteo from UK Met Office, and the ECMWF, ICON from Germany, and the CMC from the Canadian. And those have different skills. And then from there, we intend to analyze some charts, and also come up with a consensus product, which is disseminate, but also through email, but also on our website. So this is the case, one of the case for the product we are producing for the anticipatory action. This is the case for what's happened in Algeria. Then you can see over that day we issued these advisories, and this part for Algeria was shaded in yellow. That means it is moderate rainfall, but the hazard was very, very, even there was death. So from there, you can see that there is still a gap to communicate with the users, and also to integrate more information to really implement the impact-based focus on our product service chain. The second is the case of Libya, where you can see that the vigilance for heavy precipitation have sent 4 days ahead before the cyclone Daniel hit that corner of the Libya. But again, as we have started also to saying that we are demonstration for or use other parameters like the integrated moisture, but also using the rapid thunderstorm detecting developed by Meteo France. But also those are the tools we emphasize for the Met service to be used, so then they can anticipate such extreme events. In terms of the service also, we do produce the advisories for the cyclone phenomena, as we've been seen in our mandate. So what we are doing is just to provide tracks of the cyclones. So here you can see the tracks for the example for Cheneso, and then you can see really why do we use why we have choose for us to do this multi-model approach. You can see now for the Cheneso, where you can see the outlier was considering that UK Met Office in red, but later on we found that the UK Met Office was the one track well the system. But also we do other diagnostic to understand the behavior of the moisture, and so we can give a good information to the users. And for our cyclone trajectory product, we produce as 5 days ahead, and you may know that for the Indian Ocean also there is the Météo France La Réunion, which is the RSMC specialized center for the cyclone, which is also produce this similar product, but for them that's for 3 days ahead. In terms of the product also, we developed the product for drought monitoring. Those are the different maps. And from those 3 maps, we have come up with the CDI, which is the combined drought indices, which is derived from this SPR, SMR, and FPR to identify where the area where there are potential agriculture drought. And this product was already validated, and this was developed by ACMAD with the support from GRC, Joint Research Center for European Union. And this comes from the global drought monitoring. Then we develop on the Africa area. So in the series also to develop some product to be used even in the seasonal forecast, though we do some analysis of climate variabilities for region at the continent, and where we produce this one to support the production of also the seasonal forecast at the continental level by combining with in the collaboration of other regional climate centers. So this is the seasonal forecast, season outlook products. First of all, the rainfall, and this product for rainfall, which contain probability. This comes with we have initiated what we call the African Continental Outlook Forum every month, where the all regional climate center of Africa, we sit together, we discuss the weather and come up with the consensus focus, and then we come up with that consensus product. And also at ACMAD side, we have developed the onset agriculture season, where we issue every 2 weeks the monitoring, also the where we observe the late onset, but also the early onset, and also we add the third part where to predict either it should be late, the forecast for the onset for the coming period. This one to support the user, especially for the agriculture sector, to anticipate either they can plan the activities according to the availability of the rain. We do also product for climate monitoring, and then the policy brief. And this policy brief is one of the product comes we generate after the ARCOF. Then with this one, we disseminate it to policymakers so to take a decision. So you can see there is quite difference between that one and the one with the probabilities. That one we remove the probabilities so we can give a digest information to the user who doesn't it may be confused by the probabilities, or to try to avoid to say below normal or above normal, as we meteorologists we always like to say. In terms also for the product for the health, we do produce the meningitis bulletin, and this one I show you the case for the actual case. Then you can see over Niger there was many cases of meningitis, and this one we are working closely to support the WHO regional officer, and also the WHO Bureau of Surveillance of Meningitis. And also we do produce this, we do share this information to the CDC based at the African Union to anticipate the vaccination in case there is any case of meningitis. So those are some of the products, and as I said, in our mandate is just to facilitate technology transfer. Then I'm gonna to show you the one of the application developed by ACMAD in a collaboration with the Belgium Institute, which is called VITO. This is a ClimTag, which is a tool for climate information tool for agriculture, which produce 56 agroclimate indicators using 3 climate mode scenarios. And we are for the now, we have up to 23 countries where the system is, where the application is available and can be used. And we have done also trainings, so to train meteorologists how to use and how to generate actionable indicators using that tools. The second application I would like to share with you, it's the UClip, which is the Urban Climate Information Platform. And that one has been tested as the pilot phase in Niamey, in the city of Niamey, where we conducted some measurement campaign in collaboration with National Met Services. And also we're using the youth volunteers to take additional measurement to really to assess the heat under the trees, but also outside without the trees. So that's, we come up to see that what will be the importance of the trees, especially over Sahel during the heat wave period. So by developing all those climate services, we do rely for interaction with users. That's why we started to establish the African Continental User Platform. And so far we have set up 4 UIPs for agriculture, health, water, and the DRR. And for each UIP, there is term of reference. We develop a term of reference, rules of procedures, composition of the platform, and the meetings also, and the program and the product. And that's one we work closely with those sectorial partners, so to develop which product they need time and the frequency to disseminate, even the format. And then our guidance was the UIP guidance developed by WMO. So that's one help us also, like one example to show the way we used to produce the product. Then from the impact-based forecast we are producing, we do collaborate with OCHA, West and Central Africa, to predict the percentage of population to be exposed to the flood in those areas where we do expect enhanced rainfall, which may lead to flash flood. And then you can see what we forecast and what we've been observed. That's bring us to see together with them and come up with the understandable product or services which can be used for a humanitarian purpose, but also to anticipate actions. The second one is the product you are producing to support the situation room in Addis. Some of you have received what they call Continental Watch. In that bulletin, ACMAD have a responsibility to produce heavy precipitation and a strong wind, and then after an event, extreme event, ACMAD have a responsibility to reproduce the to contribute in producing the situation report to support the African Union board to mobilize funds in order to support the countries which have been affected. So in terms of the situation report, that's the content, an example for the situation report. And also for the Continental Watch, it has 3 parts, mainly 3 parts, where is the front of the highlights, the maps, but also the advisories. That one is developed by our colleague, early warning expert based in Addis. to generate that part according to the forecasts or the advisories we have produced. The last one is the support to humanitarian agencies. This is the exercise we have started with you in collaboration with WMO and the UNHCR to support the activities over the refugee camps, where we overlay the climate information so they can anticipate in case there is heavy precipitation or heat wave or in those areas. Coming off the lesson learned and the way forward, we can say that there is a routine exchange of local impact data between communities and from continental stakeholders up to the national level and the region. So there is a need to improve the prediction of the production of the climate, state of climate in order to support those African climate negotiators on loss and damages. And also, there is also the need to improve the operation of the Meteorological Diverse Center, but also to develop capacity by using with the testbed or focus demonstration, and also organize in somehow ad hoc briefings and the debriefing at this using the humanitarian and the DRN communities so they can understand how they can interpret our product, but also integrating our product in their activities. And also there is a lack or weakness by training forecasters and also DRR expert on the tools and the products so they can understand and use our the information produced accordingly. My last slide is the way forward is just, and thank you for this community, is to raise awareness among political decision makers of the availability of these impact-based forecasts, and also, as I said, enhance and improve the capacity building for the forecasters so they can understand the risk and the communication manner for outlooks, advice, and the warning. And also there is a need to strengthen collaboration between the institution, means those are in charge of production, but also in charge of the users' information, and also improve the access to data and dimension information. And we do also have to take advantage for the research and innovation so we can generate more accurate information. That's what I have to share with you. I thank you very much for your understanding. Over to you, Kathy.
Excellent.
And I'm listening to your question or comment.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that overview. It's very detailed. We are moving on to the portion of the session where we can go into a few questions or comments. So if you do have a question, put it into the Q&A or in the chat, and I will pass them over to our speaker. First question that I can see here is, what are ACMAD's plans for the future in terms of expanding its weather monitoring and forecasting capabilities?
Come again? I didn't get you well.
No problem. It says, what are ACMAD's plans for the future in terms of expanding its weather monitoring and forecasting capabilities?
Yeah, our plan is to continue to support national med services by training the meteorologists, because on our program, ACMAD program, we have the two kind of training, which is the on-job training, where we select some junior meteorologists to spend at ACMAD 1 to 4 months in operational mode, so that they can expose to the tools and also methodology in producing weather climate services. Secondly, is just to continue to raise awareness and also to train people on impact-based forecasts over the continent.
Excellent, thank you. It sounds like there's a good training focus there, and I think that is a topic that came up quite a bit at our recent event in Pretoria, around the issue of meteorologists and forecasters retiring, or perhaps not upskilling in the way they need to, and a lack of new young meteorologists being trained to enable the Met Services to have a high technical ability and increase their capacity that way. So it's good to know that is in the forefront of ACMAD's mind. The next question asks, do you provide any guidelines on communication and dissemination to rural communities to ensure actions to forecasts? I believe you did touch on this briefly in your presentation.
Yeah, for what we are producing in our products, it's not really much, but we give just some guidance, and we always emphasize that the users should be in touch with the National Met Service to get more details. And as you may know, that we are at continental level, we cannot give more details, but we just give guidance, then request people and advise people to go further to the National Met Service, where they can find additional information or even detailed information.
Excellent, thank you. Emmanuel asks, how does ACMAD evaluate in order to improve on its products that cover the entire African continent?
What we do is normally, as I said, we have some products for the short range. We do twice a week, Monday and the Thursday, but always we are producing also the technical notes to goes to the National Met Services. We do, and each national in each technical notes we include also the evaluation or verification for the previous forecast, so we can really rank we can see our reliability, the reliable information, and the skills of our the way we are doing our forecasts.
Excellent, thank you. And the next question says, kindly provide more information on your drought forecasting product, for example, data and indices uses.
Yeah, okay. For the drought and the product, as I said, this is let me go back. These the three elements, the three indicators I said. Then from this FPR, SPI, and the soil moisture, that's where we come up with this CDI. The CDI is quite the one which can be more comprehensive to the users, because it gives you like a final, this is the final resolution. While when you look for the soil moisture, you have to maybe to have some knowledge of the soil characteristic. But now with this picture, it can give you even to the user, for you additional user can see where the drought is really severe or is not severe. And then the system, of course, they say the system is available on that link. So they are, we can have decadal, monthly, and also select your country, select your region, so you can give details on a drought according to your needs. Excellent. So we do advise people to visit the site, the website, and also if there is any comment or suggestion, it will be really appreciated on our side too, so we can improve the way it can help them.
Brilliant, thank you. I hope that answers your question. We have a question from Israel, who asks, how does one qualify for the forecast-based trainings and the like?
Come again?
how does one qualify for the forecast-based trainings?
Oh, the focus trainings, we normally target. The way we proceed is just every year we send the letters to the permanent representative, which are the director of Met Services, and they provide the CVs for meteorologists, junior meteorologists, but also there is secondment. That's one, they are the senior meteorologists within the services, so they can support ACMAD in the production or also in the development of the services. And then based on the CVs, we do select, but also should notice that here we have a huge request in a list of the request is very, very big. To every year we got more requests, but the fund is not available. We are getting lesser funds to support that activities, but now we are using some CRIMSA funds, which is the EU project. So we have like 4 person from 4 countries at ACMAD, and it's just a rotational.
Just out of curiosity, I believe Israel is from a government organization outside of the Met Service. And in those cases, would he just need to apply with that larger group of people, like you mentioned, or would there be another route perhaps for him to access those trainings?
No, I'm sorry for that. We mainly focus on the National Meteorological Services, National Meteorological Service or Hydrological Services, or that, not private.
Okay, no problem. I believe he's another government organization. I mean, I'm sure Israel will reach out.
Yeah, if for that, those FAO or OCHA, they can sponsor them staff so they can come. Last year we had some expert from UNDRR who been here at ACMAD to understand what we are producing in terms of early warning, and that's one they are supported by an organization. But for what ACMAD is supporting is from the national Met Service, but for the private or other organization, they may apply, so then sponsor themselves to come, and they will be welcome.
Good to know. I hope that is a lot of information for you, Israel. I'm sure he can reach out if he's got any more information. I have another question here, which asks, are there any technological advancements on the horizon that you believe will impact forecasting abilities?
Yeah, that's in the framework for Copernicus, you know, that's they have that's data storage, climate data storage. So then we intend to collect some newsletter and also apply, like for example, the next phase for this drought monitoring is to apply the forecasting part, and this one will be based on a newspaper published by ACMAD. So then we intend to integrate also the forecast part so we can predict, instead to produce just the monitoring, but also we can predict using that new innovation or technologies which is in Europe, but also look at the way we can domesticate those technology over Africa environment.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I can't see any further questions. I'll give it a second, just in case there's a comment or a question. I don't want to miss it. But for those of you that have kind of come in halfway through, don't worry, the session is being recorded. It will be available to watch on the network, and I'll pop the slides on there for you as well, so you'll be able to watch this back. Israel, did you want to move to the last slide just for the end, just so people can have a look at those contact details, just for anyone that might have some other questions for you or anyone at ACMAD?
Which one?
I believe it was right at the end, was it, with some contact details? Maybe the last slide?
Okay.
Just in case. Yeah, there we go. There's a few
Yeah.
contact details there. So Do feel free to reach out there, or if you've got a question specifically for our speaker, do let me know and I can pass that over for you. Can't see any more comments or questions, so I will leave it there. So thank you very much, Godefroid, for your presentation today. Hope to have you back at some point when we hear some new things maybe that ACMAD is doing. And
Yes.
thank you everyone for joining us. I'm sure we'll have some more webinars to share with you all soon.
Yeah, but I can see there is a hands raised from Charles.
Charles, do you have a question? Oh, I think he put his hand down. If you do, let me know and I'll get them passed on. Brilliant.
Oh, say no thanks.
No problem. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and we'll see you all again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
And
Tom.
have a nice day.